feel that was a penalty that could have been in the favor. Then we had Messi, man, on the other end.
You know, I celebrated that miss by Messi, but then I realized it was more realistic that Argentina was gonna win that match. You know, I was like, oh, Poland needs to win. Poland needs to win. But then it's like, dude, it was actually in our favor had Messi put that away.
Jaime, I want to talk about that VAR thing you said,
Uh
like
huh.
with the Croatia Belgium game. I agree, it's like ridiculous, but you also got to think. You rather have like VAR technology do its job, or even if it's like by a centimeter off, it's called, or you rather not have VAR and then the ref misses a complete obvious call that completely fucks you over.
Well, I mean, I think either way, it's been controversial. Like today's match, Japan, the game winning goal. I mean, that ball was out, bro. I mean, maybe from that, there's different angles, but like the fact that it wasn't even. I don't even think it was reviewed. Like the referee didn't go see the tape. He
No,
just.
well, you got to think what they see. They have like 100 frames that they look at. Well, we have like that quick play, and
Mhm.
it's a spear. Like even if like 1% of the ball, the spear is on the line, like it's valid.
That's the crazy part. I don't know if they changed the rule, but I remember it was just like majority of the ball had to be inbounds to be in. And I don't know if it's always been the rule where it's like as long as like the edge is in, it's considered in. But dude, that ball looks so out, man. Like in real time. Well, what are you doing, bro?
Hold on, I'm a sec.
But I don't know. Like I'll be honest, the way Mexico had played in the first two games, it didn't really set up a optimistic match against Saudi Arabia because Al Pastor, as you had mentioned, like Mexico just hadn't been able to score yet in the World Cup, and that was alarming. And we just didn't know where it was going to come from. And even in that first half against Saudi Arabia, it's still no goals. So it's like we went like what almost 270 or it was 180 minutes and then another 45. So it's like you know almost 2 hours without scoring, and then we finally get it in early in the second half, and it just boom out of nowhere. It was like a shot of adrenaline, especially with that Luis Chavez goal. I mean, after that, I was like, "Holy shit, it's happening! Here comes the comeback!" And it just felt like it was gonna happen. And Saudi Arabia just felt like they were giving us the game. And I don't know if maybe Mexico got a little bit too like they felt like they needed to rush things. They weren't emotionally like the IQ wasn't there. And I feel like they messed up a lot of easy plays, a lot of like passes, and they just rushed things, and it was like it was so early in the second half that they should have went at it methodically. And I also felt that Tata should have made substitutions a lot sooner, especially with I mean Chucky looked gassed, and let's be honest, it wasn't Chucky's best game. In fact, he was, in my opinion, the most frustrating player to watch on that pitch because of the amount of opportunities that he had, and some of them he was very selfish on. He should have passed them. Uh, and I don't know, man. I also felt like bringing in Raul was a mistake. There's just like a lot of things that went wrong after we went up 2-0. And to have to rely on a offside call or a PK or whatever, like bullshit, bro. Like Mexico generated so many chances that they should have put it away. Like any other team would have put those met chances away. We wouldn't have had to rely on other results. It was just beating Saudi Arabia by a lot, and it just wasn't the case. It was like watching that game like against IT when we were supposed to like score a bunch of goals to get into the Olympics and we didn't. It was like that same thing all over again.
The Carson Preolímpico that cost Hugo Sanchez his job.
And yeah, and
Yeah,
I
that
completely
was.
agree. I told my buddies when Bega missed that first shot, they were like, "Oh my god, how do you miss that? How do you miss that?" And I was like, "Hey guys, all we gotta be doing is leading at half. It doesn't matter if it's 1-0, 2-0,
Yeah.
3-0. As long as we're leading at half, it gives you that confidence. It gives you that confidence you should score your first goal. Obviously, that did not happen. Now with Chucky, I know Chucky's been getting a lot of hate, but I think Chucky just had that pressure that he just wanted to be that national hero. He plays at
Yeah.
Napoli. He's our best player in form.
Yep.
I don't think he played bad. I think he played frustrated. Like he was trying to do more than he
Yeah.
should have. But on like Devil's Advocate, like the one Antuna misses, the one he like gives to Antuna,
Uh-huh.
is like man, Antuna puts that in, and Chucky all of a sudden is a hero because he gave him a
Yeah.
sleeper. So, but no, I agree. And then Saudi Arabia, they gave themselves up for the last 30 minutes.
Yeah, they
It looked
did.
like they weren't even trying. But what stood out to me? I didn't know. I'll be honest. I did not know this. I kept hearing the commentators, the TV, everybody talking about if Argentina wins 2-0, Mexico got to win 3-0, and if not, the yellow cards. When Saudi Arabia scored that goal, so my girlfriend's Cuban, like she doesn't know like the game or anything. I just like dropped on the couch. I was like, "Fuck!" And
Yep.
she's like, "What?" And I'm like, "We're out. Like, damn,
Yeah.
we need to win 3-0. We're out." I didn't know that if we won 3-1, we would have still moved on,
Yeah, and
dude.
dude, it was
But
so
it looked like the
confusing.
players didn't know that because the players, like mentally, after that goal, they
It
broke
shut
down.
down.
And
Yeah.
and you know how I know they didn't know that? Because we had a corner when we were up 2-0 in aggregate. We had a corner, and Ochoa did not go up.
Yeah.
If you got to win 3-1 and you have a corner, send the goalie up because even if it fails and they score 2-1,
Yeah.
it doesn't matter. You still need that extra goal.
Right.
So to me, that pissed me off because I'm like, all right, I'm a fan. I think I'm educated about it. Obviously, I didn't know it. But it looks like the players didn't know. So who
Nobody
screwed
knew.
that up? The stats guy, the coach, the who screwed that up? That the players didn't know. Hey, we got to win 3-0, 3-1. Or on the score. Once they knew it was Argentina 2-0, it doesn't matter. We just need a third goal. It doesn't matter if Saudi scores on us. And it looked like no one knew that. And that part pissed me off.
Yeah, no, it was very confusing, right? Because it was all under the impression in the broadcast that the tie break was going to go to fair play. And obviously Poland had accumulated less yellow cards than Mexico. So like if the results had stayed like the way they were, maybe Argentina scores one more or whatever, it was under the impression that the tiebreaker was going to be, oh well, Poland had less yellow cards than Mexico, and they didn't factor in the fact that it had Mexico scored one more goal, they would have gone through because they had scored overall more goals than Poland, and it just like as soon as Saudi Arabia scored that goal, I thought it was over, and I didn't realize that either. And another thing too, I was looking at that play, and like everybody just gave up on that play for some fucking reason. Charlie Rodriguez just let him walk in, and like the defenders just kind of just like gave up, like that wall pass and give and go, and they just didn't even track him. They just let him score. It was weird, man. It was like one of the most
They had that white light at the end of the tunnel. Like they just saw, oh shit, we're about to get
yeah
scored on. We're out. And that's what pissed me off. Like these guys did not know that even if they scored, it didn't matter. We still need a third goal because they mentally broke down after that goal. And technically, that goal shouldn't even matter because the story didn't change.
yeah.
We just need a third goal.
They just needed one more, and yeah, But then again, it's Mexico, bro. It's like we lose in the most frustrating ways, and it pisses me off that it took the last game in the second half for Mexico to like finally have a fire up their ass and play the way we wanted them to play, and even then, it wasn't even good enough. So it's just one of those
Well,
situations. It's very frustrating.
well, that thing you see Luis Chavez interview like man, they gotta make this guy captain. FMF they might suspend him for what he said, but he literally said, versus Argentina, we had no clue what
Yeah,
Tata wanted us to do.
yeah,
And he also said, we got to get rid of a bunch of people from Selección. He didn't say players, he didn't say
yeah.
directors, he just said a bunch of people from Selección. But that tells you right there that he's telling you we had no idea what to do against Argentina. We didn't know what he wanted us to do. So we didn't create anything, like nothing. So that like feeds into conspiracy, like the Tata fixed that game. That he was he's too scared to play Argentina. Like what happened?
And Tata played it down in
You
the
know
press
what?
conference. He said that,
Wait,
yeah,
really quick, guys. Just if that is happening, where it's like you feel the coach is sabotaging, or you don't understand, that's when the players that are like the leaders within the group step up, and
hmm
that's their turn to say, f that, fuck the noise. This is what we're gonna do, and you see that happen. For no one to step up and no one to try to do anything. It, oh, where did I? Who had talked about it?
But you gotta remember, these guys are not leaders. If it was about stepping up, they would have done the Benzema. They would have done the Tony Cruz. You know what? I'm too old for the national team. I'm too injured. I cannot give the national team the best of me. And they would have stepped to the side. Herrera had no business being in the World Cup. And I don't want you to think I'm short memory. 2014 World Cup, Herrera and Gallito Vasquez were one of our top guys. But
Yeah.
2014, 2022, long time. I love for what you did in the past, but right now, the moment you shouldn't be it. Raul, why did Raul go to the World Cup to play what 30, 40, 50 minutes and like be playing on one leg? Like, so how do you expect these guys to go up to the coach and say, "Hey, man, we got no idea what you're trying to do. Like, this doesn't make sense. We should switch it." When they didn't even have the audacity, they didn't even have the balls to tell them, "You know what? I shouldn't be on the national team." No, their
No, but I'm
ego
saying
wanted them
once
there.
you're playing, I know, but once you're playing, like in the field, that's and I don't know if you watch the show. It's called Jaime se called Maestros, I believe,
Yeah. Los
and
Maestros.
they were talking about players of that type of characteristic, and Aguirre was saying how Blanco was that team for him. I mean, Blanco was that player for him, and he's like, we would, you know, things weren't working out. He said Blanco was just put the, he'll just carry the team, and I that I do feel it was lacking. I think because of Raul, he probably wanted it, and he's just not there because of his injury, and then Guardado too old. So we kind of the whole timing was off for Mex, where the national team reaches the World Cup, and some of the players that should have been a beast just it just wasn't meant to be. Unfortunately, uh, Raul suffered that horrible injury, and it sucks because I know when he was killing it at Wolves, Selección fans were like, rubbing their hands. Um, and then to not have other players sort of come through, because some of them just aged out, and so that kind of I think that ended up hurting the team going into the World Cup.
Yeah. So in that press conference, they brought up what Chavez said, and Tata basically denied everything and said that there was no turmoil within the locker room, and that they're leaving Edson out in the Argentina game was intentional. It was strategy. But at the end of the day, man, it's like, did we expect anything different? Like,
Yes, fans
team,
did. Jaime,
this team had no signs of life. Like, this process has been very painful for everybody. And it's just like there was no signs of this going, like, this was a train wreck from the beginning.
I, Jaime, Jaime, this is the funny part. I think fans expected worse, and we see all their
What
talking
would be
points.
worse than
They
not getting out of the group?
No,
were
I
just
wouldn't say
losing, like
worse.
losing other games, like
No, I wouldn't say
getting
worse.
losing four.
In December, we knew it was like a group stage team. Like, if we made it out of group stage, it was like a plus. Yeah, maybe it was like, oh shit, Lewandowski might score like 2, 3 goals on us. Argentina might beat us 4-0. Like, I get the worst part, but at the end of the day, it was the same result. We expected out to be in group stage. What we didn't expect was playing like so weak, so
Yeah.
afraid, not even trying to get the win, not even trying to get the draw. Just trying not to lose against Argentina.
Well, I
Poland,
think
same thing.
when you say we, that's in the minority. I think the vast majority, and even if you see a lot of the memes and whatnot, they, they had Lewandowski pretty much destroying the Mexican defense, and they had Argentina also just, steamrolling through Mexico.
No,
It,
no,
it,
that's
I,
just how Mexicans are, man. Like, how
I
we are,
know,
like,
but
we roast each other. Like, we
Yeah.
love roasting each other. Like, we call our kids gordo or
Yeah.
whatever. Like, we just make fun of each other, and that's
That's
why,
just like our culture.
it's our
no, man,
culture. But that doesn't mean we actually believe it. It's just the way we are. We roast each other. If I like you, I'm gonna make fun of you, and if
Exactly.
that's the way we are. But it doesn't
no,
actually mean we
But we
believe
didn't
it.
we didn't actually expect it to come true.
Yeah,
it
exactly.
didn't come through. it didn't really
But
come
it's
through. I
like,
mean,
dude, it's just
Lewandowski
like,
was pretty
oh
much
man,
shut out. That first half against Argentina was really good. They, you know,
dude, it and that's
they
the
kept that
thing.
team.
And we
They didn't
talked
let
about
the
it. We talked about how like we had done such a great job in that first half against Argentina, and it's just like we didn't. They made adjustments and we didn't, and that was the difference. And
yeah, and they were too, like you said during the game, they were being too conservative,
yeah,
especially in the first half when it looked like
they were shook. Yeah.
Argentines. Yeah, they looked nervous, and that's when they should have. Easier said than done, but they should have tried more attacking, just a bit more.
But one thing, and this is like the same theme across basically every World Cup that I've seen with Mexico is like when it comes to like the big moment, right? The clutch moments of a game, Mexico always fails to like they always crumble under pressure. It like happens time and time again, right? Even against Saudi Arabia, you had the opportunity to like go through and like I don't know, bro. It's like self-sabotage in a way. It's like it's a very like interesting thing to see happen like constantly, and it like makes you wonder like the we obviously like the tactical side of things. There's that part of football, but the constant thing that I've been hearing about like people from that are not Mexican that observe us on every 4 years is like the mindset and the mentality of the players is just not there. It's not at that like level, and I think that's the difference between like players that play in a more competitive league in Europe and the Mexican. I'm not saying we should send more players to Europe because it's not working, but I do think like the mindset and the attitude and how you approach your profession is a lot different. They take it more serious. They actually do see this as a profession. And in Mexico, it's kind of just like shits and giggles, ha ha ha. Like I'm getting paid top dollar, and it's like the mindset's not there.
But it's because they groom them that way. For example, in Mexico, you have your concentracion. You play tomorrow, the whole team goes to the hotel to make sure no one's getting drunk, make sure no one's behaving, and then the team leaves the hotel to the game the next day. In Europe, that ain't shit. Like you play on Saturday, Friday night, you're at your house sleeping with your family. You are trusted to behave. You're trusted to not go out. You're trusted to be a professional. So you're also kind of like babying the players, holding by their hand, and then you're surprised once you give them a little bit of freedom that they wild out. It's like that dad that's too strict on his daughter, like doesn't want her having no boyfriends, doesn't want her ever do anything, and then that's the girl who's the worst, that's the girl who's the party animal. It's the same fucking thing. We baby the players
They
way too
they
much.
they know that the thing they do the same with other teams. I've seen it. Because I cover games and I've gone to hotels and you'll see the whole team just hanging out right there. You know,
what
Are
was,
you
what was that
Mex
thing?
just gets a
are
bad
you talking
rep.
about international teams, or are you talking about clubs?
International, national teams. I've seen the Polish.
No,
I've
no, I'm
seen
talking about clubs. Like for example, like Real Madrid plays tomorrow. Real Madrid players, or let's say they play in Madrid at home. Real Madrid players are not all at the hotel the night before, so they can be kept an eye on. They're all at home, and then they show up to the stadium the next day.
Is that
That's
true?
what I mean. At the club level, yeah, in Europe, there's no such thing as a concentración if you're playing at home.
I don't know, bro.
You're
Cause
trusted
like
to be a professional.
Mauro Camoranesi said it yesterday that like
yeah,
the
it was
infrastructure
yeah.
in Mexico is actually better than it was when he was in Italy. He said that like they had one training field where he played, and in Cruz Azul they had four.
Verona.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And then he said that the hotel in Mexico was 5 star and the one in Italy was 2 star. I'm like, yo, what the hell?
No, I don't think they're as strict with the senior team uh, for a lot of the games. I do think there is a bit of a culture that's developed. Um, so I'm not saying you're wrong. I think just partially wrong, uh, because there is like the desmadre culture that's developed and is not as professional. So I agree with you there, but I don't think they get like fully babied. But but some of these dudes have gotten like out of hand, like to an extreme. Um, but I think with the mentality, it just comes from even the younger age, like even younger. Um, and that's because in just how different it is in the country. So I think because the players already made enough money they lose a bit of that drive. The perfect example is Chofis, and I know if he had the dedication and drive, he would have been at this World Cup. He would have been making highlight reels because he has that type of talent. But like these dudes already by
Well,
18
he
or
won a championship
kids.
with Pachuca, so he kind
No,
of
I know, but he should be higher than that. His ceiling is higher.
yeah.
He you know what I mean? And he did win it, but he's not like the key player. He's like a sub. Um, but I'm just saying, like, because they get good money, these guys start like already messing around like this, and a lot of them they come because like if you seen the some of the early interviews they did on Chucky, not Chucky, Chofis, and you saw the neighborhood he lived in, like just very poor.
Hmm.
But then after just being in Chivas, he made enough money where it's like they already have like brand new cars and a
Yeah.
house
Then he goes to San
and then
Jose and he's the DP over there.
so yeah, you lose some of that drive. It's like doesn't matter to them. Like Vela's very comfortable. Although I do think he worked really hard, but I think it's kind of the mentality now. It's like, all right, I'm pretty set. I don't have to.
Why would I go to Europe and fucking get potatoes for salary? And oh, that was another thing Aguirre said when Mauro was talking about like the difference between Europe and Mexico and how like the infrastructure in Mexico is like world class, and then salaries too. And Mauro did it. He's like, I told you that in private, man. Like, but apparently the salaries too are not as competitive as they were in Mexico. But he ended
No,
up
but
becoming a
a
World
lot.
Cup winner.
It's not Jaime. That's important that we mention because we get we the clubs in Mex club owners they get a lot of hate of, oh, they don't want to let go of players, and it's like, no, if you paid a lot of money and you're paying them top contract, why are you taking an L, right? So if the player wants to go abroad, when they negotiate the contract, that's when they stipulate that, because and we've seen it. A lot of players have been leaving to Europe, but those are players that had already made up their mind. Pizarro was like, you could tell. It's like once he signed for what he sold for like 18 million, and he was gonna get paid like all this money. Like that was it, dude. You're not really leaving.
Yeah, yeah.
No, let's just share this thread, and this guy who was like Fuerzas Básica coach in Mexico. He's from Spain. And he was saying one of the big things with Mexico is a problem is that we don't have any development coaches. Like in Spain, Europe, you're like required to like earn your certificates. And he was saying like when he was in
Ah, yes.
Mexico, like they would just like buy like the certification and just pay for it, and actually like earn it, and then go through the development courses. And I believe that a lot. And the reason
Hmm.
why I believe that is because in many other countries, you get pulled over, you get your ticket, and on your way. In Mexico, you can kind of bribe the police officer, like, hey, you know what, like, here's a little. So, like, if you can do that at that level, where it's like, hey, wait, like, I'm not trying to do this whole 12-week course. How much do I got to pay you to get a certification? So, I also
Well,
believe it's gotten to the point where the older Fuerza Básica coach, like the boomers, they're not even development coaches. The majority of them, not all of them, the majority of them are scouts. They go and look for someone who's really good, bring them on the team, but that's all they ever are. Really good. They don't actually like take them, develop them to the next level.
oh,
That's why a lot of the time these players they do leave Europe. The reason they don't make it is because they were just that really good guy from El Llano who got brought onto Fuerzas Básicas. He learned to play against other good guys, and that was it. And then he gets to Europe. He's like, oh shit, I never learned the basics. It was just all natural talent. So I think
I,
that's another thing that has to change in Mexico a lot. The youth system, the grass root system. That you actually
but
need coaches who know
wait, but
what they're
you
doing.
know what? It depends what club, because there's clubs that take it very serious,
But
and
that's the thing. It shouldn't be some
they
clubs
do a
that take
very
serious, some that don't. It should be at a national across the board.
Well, it
That's
costs
where
money, like
FMF
so.
it needs to start in. FMF it
Well,
shouldn't depend on Pachuca doing their job right and Querétaro not doing their job right. There should be standards.
well, you can't. You know, it's I know like Germany where it's like they have the list of standards you have to meet to be certified, and they tried doing that in Mex, like the light version, and almost no team met them, especially for the second division teams. So it's pretty difficult, and it does cost money. That's the other one. But
Also, Germany's not the best example right now.
I do think
Eh,
Mex gets a bad rap with when it comes to youth, and it's like, why are they getting a bad rap? If you look at the Mexican teams that go and compete international tournaments for youth, right? Like, be it Toulon tournament, there's the Gothic Cup, the Milk Cup, the Dallas Cup, all these cups where the top teams send their players, the Real Madrids, the Ajax, and dude, you see the Mexican teams winning those tournaments and defeating these other teams. So that's where I've had some discussions with some where it's like, well, if the coaches suck, then why are the players winning? Right? Shouldn't they be getting schooled?
well, you could also make the argument that in Europe, the 17, the 18-year-olds, the 19-year-olds, they're actually playing on the first
The
teams in
better ones,
regular minutes,
the
so
better
they
ones.
might not be sending their best guys.
Yeah,
Yeah, while we're sending
that is
our
valid.
best of our best of youth in Europe, they're not because their best of their
But
best are
hey,
already with the first team.
that's true in that sense. But even at that age, there's only going to be like one or two guys, right? It's not like they have five players in the first team that are under 18. So it's usually one or two that are the standouts. And yeah, I agree with you there. They usually have them already playing. Uh, they have them playing some type of, not second division. But regardless, like the team will be getting schooled. So the fact that they Mex as youth they managed to win um, under 17 and under 20 they've improved where they make the finals and then Olympic. Um, it shows that it's not that bad, you know. And I use this example all the time of Chicharo. First season in Man United, 20 goals across the board. His coaches were at Chivas, right? So if they were like shitty, this dude would have been struggling to put one in, but he was scoring in, you know. So I think
Yeah, but no one's saying that all the coaches are shitty. We're saying that the majority of the coaches do not focus on development or do not know how to do the
well, yeah,
development.
what's this is the,
The majority of the coaches do
yeah,
not know how to teach a player the foundation. And you had two players who have gone to Europe who have told you that. Moreno and Johan Vasquez, when they went to Serie A, they told you, I realized when I was here that I don't know how to defend. Guys that played on the national team, that played in Pumas, that were stars in Liga MX, that were seen as good enough to be above, head and shoulders above the defenders in the league, and they get a Serie A and they're like,
yeah.
I never knew how to
But
defend.
see
So
that
if they and what they're telling you is that they didn't know the basics.
no,
The
that's see
Roma coach
that's
literally said Moreno doesn't know the basics.
that's kind of
So who does
taking
that
it to
fall
an
on?
extreme. No, it's a bit too much in the
How's
extreme
that an
there because
extreme? The two guys
it
who
is.
were really good in the league, they went to another league, and the player and the coaches admitted. It's not like the coach said this guy, like with Orbelin when he went to Celta. It's not like the coach was hating on the player and the player was not at fault. Like Moreno and the other player literally admit. Once I got here and I saw everybody else play, I realized I didn't really have much of an idea of defending. How's that an extreme?
Ye- and and so you think that team's coaches saw that dude and
What was that?
scout coaches and they were like, this dude knows fuck off on defending. Let's buy him anyways in the most defensive league in the world. I do think there are things that he learned, but I also think it's sort of like the leagues play a certain way, and so then some of that stuff is prioritized as opposed to like some other leagues where it's like more offensive, and that's where he would his passing game and whatnot. But do you exactly see Moreno getting schooled or made a fool of? You
Well,
know,
Hey,
he
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 had a
didn't have a
very
good
rough
run over
time
there.
playing at Roma. And Johan said it. Johan said, in Mexico, we focus like a Pique style, coming out of the box, uh, playing from the back. Well, Over here in Italy, we actually got to defend. That comes first.
Yeah.
I don't know if Italy's a good example right now either.
Well,
Hey, Tata didn't play him. Just like he didn't play Arteaga. That doesn't mean he's a bad guy. Arteaga's a really good guy. He didn't see a single minute.
yeah. Serie A has not been
I'm just saying
has been
because
well for Mexicans.
well, yeah, their national team hasn't. I
Only
think they
only
haven't
Chucky
made it
has
out of
done
the group
okay,
stage
but
in
like
'06.
Salcedo went there. You had Layungo there. It just Serie A has not been the move for Mexicans. They've been struggling a lot over there.
They struggle pretty much everywhere except Holland, and I do know it's mental, where it's like they got, and I base this off of interviews where they themselves have said it, and it's like they just want to go home, like they feel lonely. I just want to leave,
Yeah, you get homesick.
and, and so it's been more on that mentality than like their capability. Because if it came down to that, they wouldn't even bother getting those players. I mean, teams don't just watch you play once; they scout you thoroughly. But it's that's always when you buy a player, that's always the risk that once they get there, they could get injured or they're not a fit for whatever reason and they just disappear.
All right, we've been talking too much negative. Let's talk about the positives of this World Cup for Mexico. I'll start us off with number one. No more Tata. He said as soon as that referee blew the whistle, I have been freed. I'm a free man. So Tata is no longer the coach of Mexico. This is the last World Cup for Hector Herrera, Andres Guardado, and hopefully Moreno, hopefully Ochoa. You guys can throw some more names at us, but these are the positives, man.
Jimenez.
Jimenez, yeah. Man, Raul Jimenez. I don't know how he's ever gonna overcome this, bro. Like, I honestly think he'll never be able to live this down.
He always had wolves, Jaime.
I don't even think,
got
dude. If I was Wolves,
every stadium.
if I was
They're
Wolves
gonna
right
sing
now,
his song, dude.
if I was Wolves right now, I would straight up cancel his contract. Be like, you are free to go, dude. You've embarrassed us.
Well, he's tied to the guy, remember? I forget his name. Portuguese super agent.
Jorge Mendes.
There
Well,
you go. Good.
Wolves didn't even want him at the World Cup. Who's their coach? I can't remember now. Who's coach Spain?
Yeah.
Yeah, I know who you're talking about.
Lopetegui or whatever his name is. He said he didn't want him at the World Cup. He said he wasn't ready to play the World Cup. They were more concerned about his injury and him. Like he's like Wolves comes first. Now I think Wolves is even more mad because they're like he think his stock didn't go up in the World Cup. If anything, it went down. So if Jimenez doesn't come for the second half of the season and like does some work with Wolves, I don't know how much contract he has left, but they're probably not gonna get much money out of it. The only thing they probably do is probably finessing like Liga MX team and try to get like 10, $12 million out of that.
Chivas, let's go, baby.
You have Mendes though. Don't.
Hey, the only World Cup he
Don't-
might go
don't
to is the homeless
underestimate.
World Cup, or the one for handicapable
Ouch.
people.
Ouch. I do feel that he might have had something to do with that super agent Mendes and try to keep him relevant, like Pastor said, or Habibi now.
Habibi.
uh, to try to like get him like, because imagine if you would have scored just one goal, even off a penalty, he would have been right high again. Unfortunately, it wasn't. It just didn't happen. But this is a player that at one point was what upwards of 50 million.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, he was linked with some of the top teams. But again, talk about positives. So like again, last cycle, last cycle for most people, for most players, no new coach. What kind of coach you guys want? I've been hearing La Volpe is already in the bag. I don't know. Do we want La Volpe again?
I'm surprised no one is saying Bielsa because he's always flavor of the month. And last I checked, he doesn't have a job.
I don't know if he would want the job.
Wait. Can I just do you guys one more negative? Just quick answer. Do you consider Jimenez a national team legend?
No,
Yes or
No.
no?
he hasn't
No.
done anything. Like
So
the
you
the
think
chilena, that's it.
okay, I was gonna say, you think he lives off the chilena and the sympathy of his injury?
I think no sympathy after what we saw, like him deciding to go to the World Cup and Benzema not going, and then actually seeing what he did. There's no coming back from that, dude.
He's
Okay,
living off the one Chilena and one really good season at Wolves.
okay, because I saw like a Twitter page that covers Mexican soccer in English, and they posted a picture of them like, didn't go as planned, but we still got to appreciate these Mexican legends. And I'm like, how the fuck is Jimenez a Mexican legend?
For
Because
the
of the
club, he
chilena?
is.
He's not a legend. They've been using that
But
word
I
a
mean,
little
for
bit
their
too
club,
loosely.
for their club, he is. I think he's their highest scoring player of all
I
time.
have as many World Cup goals as Raul Jimenez. Okay, I'm not a legend.
No, I'm talking club.
I'm just saying, if we have the same amount of World Cup goals as Raul Jimenez, he's not going down as a legend. Omar Bravo has more merit than Raul Jimenez.
Damn, he does actually.
Let's talk about the revelation of the World Cup for Mexico. Obviously, for me, it's Luis Chavez. But any other performances that surprised you guys?
No.
Any?
No,
No, none.
No, he was the better one, but I'm gonna go negative here too to join Al. Okay.
There is no positive, Jaime.
No,
Stop trying to make positive happen. It's not gonna happen.
So no, he had a very good World Cup. Now the issue for me is why are we again having he's a breakout player. He just popped up out of nowhere, right? He's 26 years old.
Yeah. Is that is that
that's
not
the start
good?
of a prime? Well, that's the start of a prime for a player. And so we're like again, why did he just pop up? Recently. You know, I know he played well for Pachuca and everything like that, but again, why wasn't his name out there a lot more, right? Just kind of under the radar, all that stuff. And I get it. Like Matador Hernandez was a little bit older too when he kind of jumped onto the scene and stuff like that. But again, this is again the development in Mexico as opposed to maybe some other places in the country. And I'm not saying to you know play people at 17, 18, 19 years old, but at 22, you should have some indication that some of these players are.
He's not ready,
You know,
bro.
Yeah,
He's got a wife and kids, but he's not ready yet.
I think sometimes it's not ready. Sometimes the players you have in front of you are that much better, or they end up just taking up the space. And
Yeah.
we've seen it with
He barely made his
you know,
senior national team debut on April of this year.
correct. And again, that's
No, it's just the Mexican way. Because like, look, out of the top 6 players that have played 5 World Cups, what, half of them are Mexican? That's not a good thing. That's not something to be proud of. It means you're not making generational changes. Another one is we took Cota and Talavera to the World Cup. Worst case scenario, you have an injury with Ochoa. You're only gonna need one of them. You could have taken Acevedo to at least get that World Cup experience of the ambiance and all that.
Or el
There's a
joven
lot of players you
promesa
could have
Conejo
taken.
Perez. I think he would have been great
Yeah,
too.
you could have taken like 5, 6 players that you knew were like Arteaga didn't play, Johan Vasquez didn't play. You could have done more of those. But to give you a positive, one player that was a positive for me, he was shitty during the elimination, the qualifiers,
Qualifiers.
throughout the process. Gallardo. It seems like Gallardo's a World Cup player because 2018 he
Dude.
played well. He did not play bad this World Cup. He actually played well. He played a lot better than I expected. So from a World Cup perspective,
Gallardo
I
held
would
his
take
own,
that as
man.
a plus.
You know who didn't play well? Sanchez, bro. Jorge Sanchez, trash. Just trash, bro. That's disappointing because he's at Ajax now. I
Dude,
really
those America players, man. Alvarez, America player, 2018, played right back. He was voted worst 11 of the World Cup. Now Sanchez, I don't know. And I'll
I
tell you this,
think you just haven't
Edson did
Ricardo.
not have a great World Cup. Everyone says, like, I was one of the guys to say, how come he's not playing versus Argentina? But here, this is my hot take. 2014, Gallito Vasquez from Liga MX, much better World Cup than Edson Alvarez 2022.
Well,
Yeah,
Edson didn't get much
Gallito
of an
was a
opportunity.
It was a
beast.
shame for Gallito. It was a shame that he missed that Netherlands game, man,
Yeah,
because
we could
he
have
was
used him.
playing hella good. Yeah,
He was he he bossed in the midfield and he was going up against Rakitic and Modric.
Yeah, dude.
cabrón. But I'm going to disagree with Gallardo just because he pissed me off in that last game there. And
Well, he was fault for the goal, right? He like lost the
oh yeah,
ball.
no, yeah, he
Yeah.
the that bad pass and it ended up in the
Uh-huh.
goal. And I want to, I don't know, Uriel Antuna, I want to punch him in his huge teeth. I can't stand those huge teeth, man.
Antuna, man. I have a photo that I took of him in the Nations League. I'll send it to you.
A guy that I thought was serviceable was Cesar Montes.
Montes, that's another good revelation from the
Yep.
World Cup.
Well, I don't know about Revelation. He's
Well, I mean,
maintained
for the
his
world
level.
stage. I'm talking about the
I
world
wouldn't
stage.
call-
People
yeah, I would-
people don't
I
know
wouldn't-
who these players are, and like I think Luis Chavez and Cesar Montes are gonna make waves for the rest of the world. You know, you already had Leverkusen tweet out about Chavez, so yeah.
I wouldn't say make waves, but I think they might have gotten a little bit of attention. I didn't have an issue with Montes. I thought he was decent, and then Chavez was good, man. I didn't know he had that leg, man, for the set
Yeah.
piece. That was the. There we go. I'm going into the positive of it, man.
And
Now that I got
and-
the negative out of my chest, man. But no,
Well,
I didn't.
I'll give you a negative.
Uh-oh.
You know what pissed me off with those set pieces? Chucky Lozano trying to take them.
I was
and
about
like,
to
bro,
say
get out of there.
that.
He's shooting them all on target.
Oh man.
Like, get out of there. What are you doing?
All right,
Man.
I did not understand why. Who mentioned it earlier how Chucky wanted to be the hero, dude? Like Luis Chavez
course.
scored a banger. Why are you even trying to even touch the ball, dude? Like stay away. There was 2 free kicks that pissed me off. The one where they did the 2 touch. Why the fuck did they do that? And then the other one was like on the edge of the box, and Chucky wants it. I'm like, dude. You got the hot
That's
hand. You got to give it to the hot player, bro. It's like when Curry's hitting threes all day. You got to give it to Luis Chavez. Let that dude take all the free kicks, man.
So when was the last time we had a player that was pretty good for set pieces at that distance? Was
Ramon Morales.
Ramoncito?
Yeah.
Who was that?
Yeah.
Well, here's a fun
Ramon
fact for
Morales
you.
for sure.
Yeah.
And that was the win over
Luis
Argentina.
Chavez. That free kick goal by Luis Chavez. First goal Mexico scores in the free kick in World Cup
Yep.
history.
Nice fun
Damn.
fact.
That's actually
So
pretty
that
crazy.
tells you right there like where we've been lacking. But that is a plus. If we got anything out of this, is that Luis Chavez is like that Ramoncito because all his free kicks were on target. At
Yeah.
least we have a free kick guy now. Because it was switching between like Herrera, Guardado, and who God knows who else.
It's
All
been
right,
a
so give
while
us to
since
Luis
like
Chavez
you
now.
saw a
That's it.
free kick and you're like, it's gonna go in. Like we haven't had that kind of belief in a long time. For me, that was Ramon Morales at Chivas. Like every time there was like that one free kick, you're like, oh, it's going in. Like the ones he scored against Toluca and stuff, and then obviously for the
Well,
national team.
he's the one win over Argentina, Copa
Yeah.
America. He scores off of the free kick.
Yeah. Speaking of Argentina, I wish we knew sooner about Chavez. I wish he raised his voice so Vega wouldn't taken the one against Argentina.
Oh, that's right.
Maybe that would have gone in.
Yeah, Alexis Vega. That's a player that a little bit underwhelming, right? Like he didn't really have like a good World Cup. I don't think he did.
I thought he did fine. I think against was it Poland?
Poland?
Yeah, I thought he looked pretty good, but yeah,
Well,
maybe.
he impressed Camoranesi.
Yeah, he did.
Look, Chivas fan right here. Alexis Vega has not scored a goal in the Clásico. He has not scored a goal in Liguilla for Chivas. He did not score in the World Cup. Alexis Vega is all like almost like
Smoke and mirrors?
like lots of entertainment. You feel like he's gonna do something, but he doesn't.
What Al's saying is that he's like a 7-Eleven and can't close.
Damn.
He's been injured too, so that's part of it.
I will say Carlos Vela in that play, in the in that Saudi Arabia match, he would have chipped it, bro. That's a classic Carlos Vela chip goal. And
Yep.
I don't know why Vela didn't try that.
Vela.
I mean Vega, sorry.
Yeah, because he wasn't there, Jaime.
And also with Antuna with the fake with the the feints and all that. Why didn't he do that on that one play? Like he went for the one touch. He should have just let that ball drag out. He would have had the defender all out of place and he could have just tapped it in. There's like a lot of things that like, come on, bro. You guys do this for a living, man.
Yeah, do you have that clip of that Argentine guy?
Yeah.
He's saying
He's
he
like,
hits it on the spot, dude.
yeah. He's like, you
He's
guys
like,
wear
"Come-"
boxers that don't scratch your balls. You guys play on the best pitch. You guys fuck the best whores. And you can't make a single pass.
Didn't Chucky call out Antuna for
He
that?
did. But Chucky had his own misses, bro. Like,
Yeah.
Chucky had his own plays that he fucked up on, especially like that one where he just shot it like it looked like a field goal from the NFL, dude. I'm like, dude.
No,
Yeah,
it's
some of
tough.
these. I think this team was missing.
Tecatito?
It was missing that garra, that fucking that fire
Yeah.
in their piss type of attitude that we saw with the '98 squad.
Well, there's just
Actually,
like,
not
let's be
good
honest,
enough.
bro. They just aren't made that way anymore. They don't have those kind of characters anymore. That's the old guard, bro, and you don't see players with that kind of character anymore. You just don't.
No, I will say that I thought Orbelin played with a little bit of sack, man.
Yeah, and it's such a shame that we had to wait until the last game to see him play because he looked good when he was there. He was
He generated some good soccer, man. There's some good
Yeah.
footy.
I agree with you. I think he's gonna be going into the next cycle because I started seeing all the even more negativity, Jaime, and people saying how the team is effed and whatnot. I don't see it that way. I think there's a lot of good talent. Even the players that got left out, like Santi Jimenez.
Mhm.
I think JJ Mack, if he recovers, because he's been injured, he could bring something to the table as well. And who knows, maybe if Trophies learns a thing or two at Pachuca.
Nah, Trophies
And
ain't
that
doing
other
shit,
guy.
bro.
Well, I mean, these are like sometimes maybe not for the World Cup, but you end up using them for like.
Moleros.
I honestly think like
Dude, I forgot there's no World Cup qualifying.
no.
I
No,
forgot
there's no qualifying. So
That's where they would have come in handy.
that's the-
I honestly hope that the players that end up going to 2026 are not even they don't even exist yet. They're not even on our radar yet. They're somewhere in the ether.
They're there, I may.
Well, what I mean to say is like everyone thinks that like some of this team will return for 2026, but a lot can happen between now and then, and I don't see that happening for most of these players.
What?
There's some decent pieces. I'm on I'm with Joel. I know the other day Ron was just that guy wasn't doing well, man. No, but
we need
no,
a
I agree
wellness
with
check
Joel.
on him.
I honestly don't. I think Mexico was missing some pieces, right? In particular, we didn't have any firepower. None of our guys could
Score.
score. Martin finally scored
Yeah.
that last game, but again, too little, too late. Now, maybe Santi develops into a pretty decent striker.
I think he already is. Wait, really quick. I think he already is a decent striker. The hope is that he develops into an
A little
even
bit
better
more, yeah.
striker.
Yeah.
Right, and then J. Macias, if he gets healthy, he could potentially be decent.
Dude, ya
and
está bien
then
mamado el pinche Mac, dude. He's fucking yoked.
Yeah, and he's like those players that might not be spectacular, but he's a hard worker, and he
Yeah.
eventually he gets goals, dude. He ends up getting goals. Like
Bro,
even if he
JJ
takes
Mack
his
looking
shots.
like Lewandowski now. This dude's fucking ripped, dog.
Or- and that's the one thing about him is his mentality. Because
Yeah.
he failed in Spain, and he didn't let that face him.
No.
And he was unfortunate to get injured before the
Yeah.
He's a hard
so
worker. He got mamado so he can get some girls.
Nah, dude, he's
No,
he's
I do.
he'll be good. He'll be good
I
for
do think.
2026.
I do think that if these guys get some help at the striker position with at least a couple of these guys, and then the rejuvenation of that midfield. I
And
mean,
we bring back Chicharito.
No, I would like to see Victor Guzman get a shot.
I do too. Yeah, I think Victor Guzman would be a
Oh,
nice
that
addition
dude's
to that.
not coming. That dude's
You never know.
blacklisted.
Well, Pachuca, dude. He said Pachuca, and
There was a line.
who,
There was a line, and he snorted it, man. He didn't.
he snorted more than one.
There was a line, and he didn't step over. He snorted that shit. He's not going to no national team.
Did you guys see that one clip? It's the policeman, and he's gonna check the cocaine, and he's
Oh,
like,
yeah.
"Oh, this
He
is
keeps
powder."
rubbing it in his gums and everything like that, and
He's like, "Es harina."
When he's dancing and he's se armen los chingadazos. That was
he's doing the
that
whole.
was Guzman. That was Guzman arriving to Chivas when they had just got super hyped, and they were like, "What the fuck is going on here?" They had to send them back right away.
No,
that was
you
a-
know what? I will tell you where I'm a little bit concerned about position wise. That's it. That's a great clip, man.
That's one of my favorite videos, bro.
Yeah. No, but what I'm saying is that the concern is the goalkeeper, because you have Ochoa who's going to be
Ah.
41, right, for that cycle.
We have the other
And-
Ochoa,
David, or what's his name?
the one
Yeah,
that wrote
uh,
the article on The Athletic. He's like, "Guys, I've decided I'm gonna play for Mexico." I'm like, "Who the fuck are you, dude? Nobody knows who you are."
He doesn't even go here.
I made my decision. I'm gonna play for Mexico. Like, dude, we don't even know who the fuck you are, man.
Wait,
between
Colazo, you have no faith in Acevedo from Santos?
What did that guy
No,
say?
so-
Oh, I don't know. Something
no,
about sucking dick.
No, I like Acevedo a lot. Here's my issue. If he's not quite ready, we don't have that keeper. You know, that keeper in his 30s.
Dude, they're taking Ochoa because he's
I know,
he's gonna do
dude.
that.
Ochoa's.
sixth World
I don't know
Cup.
why, but Ochoa's will make another World Cup cycle, dude.
Yeah.
Hey, he always delivers, dude. Every World Cup that he's played,
Yeah,
he's managed
think-
to.
They gotta
Acevedo's
they
the
gotta
heir
freeze
apparent,
him
but-
and thaw him out in 4 years from now. Just put him in a tank. Put him in a
him in the
tank.
cryo chamber.
Yeah, but you know that's a small club mentality because they're gonna keep taking Ochoa, so he fucks up and like he ruins like a World Cup chance, and he retires as the villain. He should walk away now.
Dude, just
doesn't
like
have to
Raul,
qualify.
it's a free ride, and he's riding that until like they run out of marketing material for him, bro. It's the
No,
hair.
I think with three goalkeepers, as long as he's in form, I'm pretty sure they're gonna take him.
He can be like a goalie / coach, goalie coach for the next cycle. Like he'll go on and then he'll be like the mentor. I don't know if he'll
Well, I mean,
start.
for goalies, Buffon played.
Yeah, Van der Sar was pretty old when he retired, man.
Yeah. No, the only person who can unseat Ochoa is going to be El Conejo. That's it.
He's Conejosaurus, they were calling it.
As long as he's breathing, man. Only
Where
guy
is
who can-
he at, though?
He-
He-
El
he's like
Conejo,
Godzilla.
he's
He went
coaching, isn't
under
he?
the water. He's like Godzilla. He goes deep into the ocean. When they announce 6 World Cups, you're just gonna see him open one eye. Like, I'm still here.
No.
Conejo. I never really liked him, but I remember one time they were showing a clip of a training, and this dude jumped, and he did like a high kick,
Dude could kick the crossbar.
and he touched the fucking cross. I was like, what the fuck? Because I was like, it was impressive seeing him because he's like what 5'7", and he's like flying one side of the pole to the other.
Dude, that hops, dude.
He did, man.
Yeah. Talking about other results, because man, this World Cup has been. Do you guys think this has been like the best World Cup in a while, or is it just like all like just because of the shocking results?
Nah, I don't even see the results as shocking, Jaime.
Really? I mean, there's been some pretty
No.
pretty big upsets. Starting
There
with
always been.
Argentina losing to Saudi Arabia. I mean, come on, bro.
Uh,
Nobody saw that
Argentina
one
lost to
happening.
Argentina lost to Cameroon as defending champions, right? Italy 90.
Well, I'm talking about like right now, dude. We're not talking about back in the 1800s when TV was black and white.
No, because let's keep in mind more teams got added to these World Cups as opposed to before. So more teams have a chance now to qualify directly. And that's the other thing that people forget, that at one point the World Cup was basically Europe, South America. And then little by little, they started opening up. And teams from the different regions now had a chance, because before it was like one ticket, right? And all these other teams were like, you were shit out of luck. But since they've been expanding, some of these teams have managed to be more consistent at the World Cup. I think Japan is like in their what? We were saying this a few days back before the World Cup, Jaime. They're like in their like 5th World Cup, maybe.
Oh, like total, you mean? Yeah.
That they've qualified in a row.
Yeah.
Since 02, I think.
Since 02, yeah.
Mhm.
That
02, 06, 10, 14, 8, yeah, 6 World Cup.
Mhm.
I don't know. Wait, did they go? I know they were 98, 7th. They were in the 98.
Mhm.
So, dude, seven World Cups, they're bound to get a result. And it's not like they're just sitting at home scratching their ass. They've been working at this, and so they were bound to get some of these results. And like I said earlier, and they're more likely to happen because it's one off. All you need is one, for whatever team. You could have one bad play, one bad game, and that was that. And because, again, if it's like basketball, best out of 6, then yeah, you'll see the Germanys and the Argentinas winning the series more often than not.
I think this has been the word I'm looking for is like it's been refreshing, right? Some of these results, I mean, the games have been entertaining. Like I'm like today was like peak pure entertainment. Group E should be renamed to Group Entertainment, bro. Group Entertainment Worldwide, because
Rated E for everyone.
Rated E for everyone. Everyone in that group at one point was advancing to the next round. At one point, every team. You had Spain up 1-0 against Japan. You had Germany up 1-0 against Costa Rica. And everyone's like, oh, here we go. It's going to be the typical Spain and Germany teams that get out of the group. But wait! Japan in the second half come back, and they had a demon inside of them, scored 2 goals, flipped the game on its head. And all of a sudden, Costa Rica gets a whiff of this. They tie the game. They're in the lead. And at that point, Japan and Costa Rica were going through the next round, and it was like bananas. But it lasted 3 minutes. But in the end...
But what a 3 minutes they were, Jaime.
Oh, man, dude. I was like, this is the best World Cup ever, dude. Seeing like Japan and Costa Rica in that group get out, it would have been amazing.
Well, Jaime, I'm going to add that social media has been a big thing for this, because before you kind of just saw your game, and sometimes you'll have the radio on hearing another game.
Mm-hmm.
But I think social media just lets you jump around and see goals even in real time. And I think that's made a difference. But if you go from throughout the years or throughout the World Cups, you will see these like shock results, right? So at one point they gotta stop. They gotta stop being shocked.
I will say this though, that I think Jaime is right. This World Cup's been pretty entertaining. I think there's only been one really bad blowout, right? And that was the Costa Rica Spain game, right?
Mm-hmm.
I know, and I expected Costa Rica to fold. So kudos to them for
Dude, nobody would have thought Costa Rica after that first game that they even had a chance to get out of the group. And again, for 3 minutes they did. And they were knocking out the team that had put those 7 on them. It was incredible.
That was, yeah, that what a story. And I think, some credit to this region, because we like to, knock on Mex how they can't beat these teams. And we see, for example, England hasn't been able to beat the U.S. They've played them 3 times now
Mm-hmm.
at the World Cup, and they can't beat them.
They
That's
can't.
because
No,
Mexico has made the region better.
Well, they have, of course. But I'm just saying, our rivals, we like to always downplay them. And I've been telling you guys, they're not really that bad. They're inconsistent.
no,
They're
no.
not that bad. They'll
I agree, though. U.S. has beaten England 1-1 each time, right?
yeah. No, they 1-0. They beat them 1-0 1950 World Cup.
Yeah, they did
So got James goal. And then they tied them
in
when was
2010.
it, 06?
2010.
2010, yeah.
Yeah,
And then again.
yeah.
So they actually have
They have
actually have
a positive record. They have a better record
Yeah.
against them than we do.
They could start doing the adding the years.
But you also got to
Like
remember,
they
those
would in
past,
Columbus and shit,
those
even
past
though they're
World
playing
Cups,
once every.
Hey, USA made it to a semifinal World Cup. We
yeah,
haven't
those
done that.
past World Cups, complete different story. Because that game, that 1-0 against England, the guy who scored the goal, he was a dishwasher, and he wasn't even born in the
Got
U.S. He
James.
was like born in the Caribbean.
That makes it even more impressive.
No, it
Yes.
makes it more impressive, but lets you know that like a lot of like the teams back then, like there's not what we is now. It's like look at the original, like the first video of like the game in England. It's like these guys just walking around the field like passing it.
Yeah, but
Yeah,
they're playing
but
against their
still.
level,
Yeah. Let's talk about. I have 2 countries that people were saying, oh, they played so well. Ecuador, they did play well, but that didn't get them through the next round. In the end,
Did they have Jaime? How many players did they have in Europe? 'Cause that
I
could
don't
have
know,
been it,
but
Jaime.
Ender Valencia
Okay.
was great, man. And everyone's like, oh, Ecuador, La Tri and all this stuff, and like they had a great opening match against Qatar. They had a goal that was disallowed, and then they kind of just like they had a decent performance, but then this one, all right, this one bugs me a lot. Canada, everyone's praising Canada. Oh, they played so well. They played their hearts out, bro. You guys lost all 3 games. Like I said they would. Like I said they would. They were gonna do shit in the World Cup.
I'm getting too much pleasure out of this. Jaime.
Look, the last 2 games, no comment. But that first game against Belgium, they did play
Yeah.
phenomenal. They lost, whatever, okay. But at the end of the day, that first game, like the first round of games, out of all the CONCACAF teams, they were the ones who played the best.
Yeah, they missed that penalty too. That would have.
All I'm
Take the
saying
game
is
for them.
we could have assembled a team right now and had the same amount of points as they did in the World Cup. That's all I'm saying. But
You're
good
just
for
happy 'cause
them.
One
They
of the
they
worst Mexico's
they got
with more
to
points than them.
they got to lose in 4K, high definition, and I'm sure the fans are proud. Not sure what they're proud of, but they're in the next World Cup, and hopefully they can get their first victory ever, because I don't think they've ever won a game.
They're bound to get it, Jaime. They're
No,
bound
they
to
just
get
got the first goal.
Yeah. Well, hey, that
No,
was
that's all
Max
it
at
is,
one
it's not bad.
point.
You gotta
That
baby
was Max
steps.
at one point.
Baby steps. No, they don't have any points, dude. They didn't.
No, that's their first goal.
They didn't. They got their first goal, but they didn't accumulate any points.
I know, but that was Mexico too. At one point,
Yeah.
Max was like just showing up to get their asses handed to them.
2 other countries, and this is what makes me feel a little bit better about our current situation. Germany, right? You look at Germany. We praise Germany. We say, "Oh, Germany is the best. Bundesliga's got their shit, together." Blah 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 blah. Well, guess what? It's their 2nd consecutive World Cup where they don't get out of the group stage. And then you also talk about the golden generation of Belgium. They've looked like bronze in this World Cup. They're also eliminated from the World Cup. So it's like, how bad are things really when you have teams like Belgium and Germany leaving at the same time as Mexico in the World Cup? Things aren't as bad as we're making it out to seem.
No, devil's advocate here though. Germany won the World Cup in 2014. They're going through a bad stretch. Mexico's just tradition to be bad.
I guess.
No, that's a fact. They're going through a
Should
bad
Germany
stretch.
send more players to Europe?
They
Is that
literally
the
just won the
solution?
World Cup 2 cups ago.
they need. I mean,
And,
yeah.
and here, okay, here's another devil's advocate. Okay, Germany's in a crisis. What are the likelihood that Germany actually does something like does a whole complete overhaul, and Mexico does? Most likely,
Are they
Germany will.
really in
Mexico won't.
crisis though? Are they really in a crisis though?
I think so. I mean, for Germany, dude, I would.
I mean,
This is
for
disrespectful.
their coach should get 8 million euros a year, and then France and Brazil right behind them, where they get 8 million combined. Yeah, that's a crisis. Your guy makes more than the two guys behind him combined. So if you're putting all this
Wasn't
money,
he the guy that won the World Cup for them?
Oh,
no, he won the Sextete with Bayern.
yeah. Hansi Flick went to Bayern Munich, won every single title, including a Club World Cup final against Tigres, which was they almost lost that one. And then he leaves. He's like, all right, guys, I'm out. He only had one season at Bayern Munich, and he dipped.
That's all he needed.
He's
dude.
like, I won everything in my
Like
first
the
attempt. I'm
boss.
gonna go coach the national team now.
he actually did what Leandro was talking about.
Hey, devil's advocate again though. That's how Liga MX is. We take the guy who's hottest in form, the most recent champion, and make him the national team coach.
Not always. I mean,
Majority of the time.
Why wasn't
Yeah.
Mati coach then? We should have had Matias Almeida. He would have never
'Cause
let
they
this
hate
happen.
Chivas, man. They hate Chivas. That's why. Because who runs Federación? The guy from Televisa, the America owner. So no way he's gonna have a Chivas coach come in and be the savior.
well, but
Yeah.
I mean, he's not really the Chivas coach.
Well, at the time he was.
Hmm? Well, he was with San Jose.
Yeah, but he wasn't. No one cared about what he did at San Jose. They would care what he did at Chivas with a bunch of Mexican players.
So let's break that streak, man. Let's put in Rafa Puente Jr.
Didn't he? Did Atlas keep? Wait, no, Pumas. Did Pumas keep him?
Pumas got him.
Yeah, but I remember there was like their fans were losing their shit. There was like riots and shit, and they're like,
Well, it's
Are
too
they
late.
keeping him?
He signed the contract, so they got him for at least 4 games, man.
Wait, so this rumor of Pochettino coming, not you guys aren't a fan.
No. It's not that I'm not a fan of Pochettino. He's not going to want anything to do with our national team. Is what it's going to come down to.
But he might want something to do with the 3 million, or close to 3 million. He would
No.
Why los
in his bank
Argentinos,
account.
man? Why do we keep going back to los Argentinos? Can somebody tell me that? Why are los Argentinos like our savior? Like
Porque
our
yo
white
tengo
sheep?
dos copas.
It's the press, dude. It's the Mexican
Go
press
ese
that
equipo.
promote these players.
No,
I
but
mean,
literally, like
coaches.
the Argentina president literally said, "Los brasileños salen de la selva, los mexicanos son indios, nosotros llegamos de Europa en barco." Like literally, like they like talk so much smack on us, they look down upon us. Like it looks like we're get out. You know, we're like the in-house slave who like loves the master. Like, why are we obsessed with Argentinos? Why?
Joel, correct me if I'm wrong, but didn't
Yes.
we change the league format to try to match what Argentina was doing at one point?
No. No.
It seems like we've always been
just-
sort of chasing
well-
what Argentina's doing.
Well, we did, and we did take some of it. So by we, I mean Liga MX. I wasn't involved.
No, it's your fault, man.
They did change it because the next term, remember, was torneo de invierno y torneo de verano.
Right.
And then even though it was split, it wasn't really split because at the end of one, it didn't really end. It still kept going. So Argentina always had the apertura and clausura, but the season starts with clausura and ends with apertura, and it's very similar. And it's like they do have that one championship per tourney, but they don't do liguilla. So that was taken from them, where it's like, okay, we could have two champions a year, right? So Argentina they just do the points. So at the end of the tourney, whoever has the most points, champion. And Mex, they do liguilla.
That tweet I just shared, don't necessarily read the tweet, but look at the graphic. Mexican is the way to go. And it's not no racism thing. It's not no Chivas thing. It's just someone local that knows the players, that knows the culture, someone that trusts, someone that when it comes to that motivational thing, is gonna be there because he feels it. He feels the pain. You know, I don't want Piojo to be the coach, but you know when Piojo lost to when we lost to Argentina
I don't
this
want
last game,
Piojo.
you saw he was crying like that. That's where I want the emotion where they feel the win, the loss.
So
Like
who
that's
who
what
do
you
you
get
put?
out of a national
Do
coach, someone
you
who's
put
local.
Nacho? Who do you have? Nacho? Who do you have?
Well, that's what we were talking about before in the beginning. That there is a lack of developed coaches in Mexico, just like how there's a lack of developed
But
players. There's
do
a lack
you
of
think?
developed coaches.
But do you think Piojo's not the? I mean, not Piojo. Nacho's not developed. He
The
spent
thing,
years in
the thing with
Europe.
Nacho, the thing with Nacho to me, he's a Mexican tata, and what I mean by that,
Who was
he's not he's like if it comes to like life or death, he'll play it safe.
You're like, I want Mexicans,
who?
but not
Hey,
just
who was our
from
coach in?
Mexico.
No, I want Mexicans, but you also want the ideal guy. Not it's not here
Well,
you get the
well,
job because you're ideal because
you're
you're
kind of
Mexican.
discounted everyone right now.
Who was our coach in 2000? Who was our coach in 2001?
2001.
When we
What?
That was the Ojitos Mesa.
Oh,
when we
Ojitos.
went
Yeah,
to
that's
the
right.
Copa America final, Ojitos was coach.
No, that was Aguirre.
Was it Aguirre?
No, okay, so Mejia Baron in '93, and then Aguirre. Yeah, it was
Were you talking about
Aguirre.
confederations?
No, I'm talking about
No,
Copa
no, Copa
America.
America. It was Aguirre.
Did Aguirre do it?
Yep,
Are you
he
sure?
had Torrado shave his head.
Okay.
Yeah, because he was in the one right before '02. He took the '02 World Cup.
God damn, why am I drawing such a blank on that one?
I thought like Aguirre
If,
was
on-
brought in
if
last
only there
minute.
was a way to check. If only there was a way to check these things.
I'm trying.
Hey Jaime, if you send smoke signals, I could see it from a few miles away here.
Let's see. Mexico 2001 to 2002. Okay, yeah, he was.
Yeah, I
Damn.
know he took Torrado. He had
Enrique
Torrado shave
Mesa
his head, so I was like,
resigned after losing to Honduras.
yeah, I saw that presser. He was crying.
Oh, speaking of resigning, you know Mexico's two worst results, like the last 7, 8 World Cups, have been during the process where the coach lasted all 4 years, and with that being La Volpe and Tata Martino. I know with La Volpe, we had that game with Argentina where it was very close. We could have won it, but as far as the group stage itself, it was like very underwhelming.
But we got out of the group.
But we got out of the group, but we also got out of the group all the other ones. The two best results, as far as like where the team like performed like better, was where the coach came in December, November, leading the summer before the World Cup. So that November,
Oh.
Yeah.
December, with
So La
it being
Puente.
Herrera in 2014 and the other one in '98.
98 La Puente, and that's the World Cup where Mexico has scored the most goals.
So
8.
that's where I was saying like the last podcast. It kind of seems like you don't even need a guy to last you all 4 years. It seems like the players, you need the players that are in the moment leading up to the World Cup, not what they did 2 years ago in the qualifiers. You gotta respect that they qualified you. You should need who's hot. Same thing. Tata beating that horse. We knew in December he was not gonna be that guy. You should just brought in somebody that was hot. Look at Morocco. Morocco got their coach 3 months ago. They fired
Same
their coach
Croatia
from the whole
when they
process.
reached the
They
final.
got a coach 3 months ago. Now they're in the next round.
Hey,
should
you,
bring
what are
in
you
who's
doing?
hot.
Huh? Yeah, you can go coach the national team right now. Okay.
Official Pochettino, and then 3 months before El Travieso Guzman.
No, Piojo, dude. Piojo. I like how he handled things.
I
last
just
time.
don't think Piojo has the mental capacity to make the right calls.
So I would think Piojo is
Oh,
probably a good solution on a short-term basis.
Exactly.
Piojo could be
No.
an assistant coach. He can just be the guy making the memes on the sidelines, bro. Like,
He's
making the
gonna be
memes.
he's gonna be
give him
throwing
some
hands
pom
with the
poms
other
and a skirt.
assistants.
Let him be our cheerleader, bro. But I don't want that guy as coach, dude.
Piojo is an early 2000s coach. He has not modernized his game. He has not modernized his knowledge. When it comes to like Guilla and everything, he always gets out coached and he never has a response. He doesn't trust youth players. He's all about coming in, taking a team that somebody already built, and then like using that team. I promise you, if they make Piojo coach, you will still see Ochoa, you will still see Raul Jimenez. You might still even see Herrera getting called up.
Well, you know what? I'm saying that about the coach, and this is something that I do think the selección needs is a general manager or a
Was it?
sporting
But
director
wasn't that
for the
wasn't that what Torrado was?
kind
He
of.
was not qualified at all.
No,
I don't think cause he hadn't
Wait,
done
so
it.
who the fuck is
'Cause-
Jaime Ordiales? Is that what he is?
he's like the GM. Yeah, he took over for Torrado.
yeah, but I think they were like just a name only. Like they're not really,
They're just there
know,
collecting a check.
they're just there. They
they're
just
over,
have the office
they're over
space.
here organizing the Partidos Moleros and the commercials and
But no, Torrado
Wait,
was
wait, just
at times traveling with
yeah,
Tata Martino. Yeah,
and with the youth teams.
yeah. So he
But I
was
don't
playing
think
the
they were
GM role.
imposing stuff. But I don't think they were imposing things because I don't think he. I just think he had too much respect for Tata, where he just let him do his
No,
thing.
well, it's as Tata said that nobody was interfering. They gave him free reign.
Yeah, but I felt that, especially going into this World Cup, there should have been where they should have said,
Leave him
okay,
in the south.
we
we
have
need to start. No, we need to build. We need to start building for the next World Cup, and you're not going to be here, so you have to take like Acevedo and take Lainez and whatever,
No, at that
and
point,
at least
fire
two,
him.
three.
Fire him. If you're gonna tell him to do his
Yeah,
job, you don't approve how he's doing his job, and you're getting recommendations, then just fire him.
yeah. Well, just I'm gonna get to my point really quick because in that Maestros they were talking about the need for that to oversee the whole project. Because I don't think, and I think when it was Nestor de la Torre, he did a really good job, and they had because that's the other thing they were talking about Maestros, how the different teams a lot of times they all play different. Like the youth team, the under 17 plays different from the under 20,
Mhm.
the under 20 different from the 23, different from the senior team.
Yeah.
And I know when when Nestor was there, they had them all playing the same.
Streamlined. Yeah.
They had them all playing. It was something they got from Hans, because and Hans had talked about this when he had come to Chivas as I forgot what position he had, but it's kind of like he's saying how all the players played the same. So once you moved up, you didn't have to learn a new system. You just like
You just
slide in.
yeah.
Yeah, it's you doing the exact same shit you've been doing. So no need to learn whatever. Um, but I do feel they need someone like that because and then they were also saying it's like coaches with similar mentality. That way, it's like you're not like starting from scratch every time because you have the team playing one way, then you bring another coach and they're playing a complete different way.
Real quick, we have a new speaker, Joel Tena. Thanks for hopping on, man. What are your thoughts?
Well, I thought that I was going to be commiserating with folks, and I didn't know if I was sufficiently drunk enough yet to have these kind of conversations. But one of the things that you guys mentioned, sometimes I listen to you guys, and I feel like sometimes you say really, really useful and helpful information for me to understand things that are going on, because it's really hard sometimes to get a full grasp of the full context and the history and all that. So I appreciate that.
Thank
I
you.
also I also disagree with you sometimes about the
That's
whole
okay.
Euro trip and stuff. So I mean, I like you can look at some of the teams and you can think, wow, there's a strong domestic league like in Saudi Arabia. That's the reason why they got pumped up, and that's the reason why they like took to the next level because nobody expected them to take it that way to Argentina, for instance, right? And then, but you can also look at somebody like Japan, and you can see that part of the reason why they're so strong is because yes, they have a domestic league, but most of their starters they export to Europe. While those people play in the Bundesliga or play in Austria, for instance. But here's something that stuck out with what you guys are just talking about right now. Who coaches Japan? Do you guys know?
Yeah. Local coach.
It was
from
Aguirre at one point.
He's a Japanese. I know, huh? He also coached Egypt too. It's a Japanese coach.
Yep.
Think about all the people who have made it to the next level that surprised everybody. Australia is an Australian coach. Morocco is a Moroccan coach. The Senegalese coach, he's a guy named Cisse. He made it. He helped Senegal and Morocco now become the first. They literally become. This is the best that Africa's ever done in any World Cup. And I know it's part of it's because of expanded teams and whatnot. But he helped make that happen. And it's because, well, I don't know all the reasons why, but if you're trying to find a common thread, it's not strong domestic leagues versus foreign leagues and foreigners playing in strong domestic leagues or the exportation of players. I kind of think that where you guys were talking right now about the whole conversation around a coach, I think there's something to that. I think there's something strong and to that. And the biggest fact of all is the fact that there's not been one World Cup won by a team coached by a foreign coach.
Brother, you're preaching to the choir. I've been saying it. It has to be Mexican. It has to be Mexican.
Yeah, but well, we actually have the Cascarita legend on. I don't know if he's gonna talk, but I nominate him for national team coach.
Profe.
Profe,
hey, how's it going, guys?
háblame Jesús.
Hey, how's everybody? Hey, first of all, a shout out to my boy Mario Scorsia Versace. He's a big time listener of you guys. He's got the Cantina Mix logo tatted on his right calf, or so he tells me.
Does he want my autograph?
Yeah, man, he does. He wants you to sign his bra. He's gonna hear that later on. So hope he enjoys it.
So what? You gonna?
No, I won't take.
What's your thoughts, man?
I won't take the team. No way. Risk my reputation. I'm with La Puente on this one when he said it should be a Mexican coach. I'm with you guys there. I think the national team, it should be the window to display what the country has as a league, and you're not really, and it should include. The federation, their job should be to showcase Mexican coaches and Mexican players, not just obviously the commercial success is great for the group of owners. It gives the incentive to keep working, but I think they're Jolie's favorite phrase, they're putting the cart before the horse before the cart, and eventually it's not going to be they're not going to be able to continue down this path. They're going to lose money. They're shooting themselves in the foot. I mean,
wait. The horse does go in front of the cart.
No, it goes behind it.
It goes behind it.
Man, y'all can't even make the right analogy. Ya están bells, güey.
You know what I mean.
Just a straight away.
Yeah.
All right, here's the problem though. I agree. It should be a Mexican coach. Dude, who's gonna step in the reins right now? Like, no one instills confidence in me right now. Maybe Rafa Marquez in a few years. I know he's in Barcelona, but like Jimmy Lozano, dude, can't even get past was it Honduras or Guatemala or whatever. He's not the one. You look at Nacho Ambriz, maybe.
Well, you have to look at it too.
No.
For example, Tata, did he have any? Like, you bring in Tata, Juan Carlos Osorio, did they have any Mexican coaches in their staff? Not just with the youth teams.
No,
but
I don't think they did. I know Osorio had his Colombian boys and saying, I don't think they did.
And I know these guys. They want to pick their coaching staff, but I think the federation is kind of they're spinning their wheels because you bring this guy in, he gains this experience, and he lives with it. I think that's a big problem. You're having a lot of that knowledge that was gained during this period, these games, you don't you don't keep it in the country.
Exactly. They're not thinking 2 steps ahead. Look at Real Madrid when they brought Ancelotti the first time. They told him Zidane was going to be his assistant because when he left, that was going to be his replacement. Ancelotti and all that leaves. Zidane comes in and wins 3 Champions League. Same thing. You're going to bring Tata in because you respect him so much because of what he's done in Europe and with Argentina, which was lose finals. Well, you should put in the Mexican coach in there. Hey, this guy's going to learn everything, soak everything from you because obviously you're not going to be here long term.
Yeah, but
I,
if you sign me up to do a job, I'm gonna bring my squad. I'm gonna bring my boys that I
Bring your
trust.
squad, but I'm throwing this guy in here. Throw him in
Yeah,
the
but
back
then
of
he's
the
just gonna
corner,
be like the
but he's gonna be
mole.
learning.
He's gonna be the mole. He's gonna be like snitching on me, and like I don't trust him. I don't know him. He's not in my circle. Why would I do that?
yeah,
That's-
but
Snitching on you from what?
every company has their interns. I mean, Jolie wanted to be Tata's cab driver, like Leaño was for Flaco
I
Menotti.
wouldn't mind, dude. Honestly,
I think being a fly in the wall in those meetings and the decisions, I think it'll go a long way. For these coaches.
Tata doesn't want to,
you know,
dude. Tata doesn't even like to stay in Mexico. He doesn't want anything to do with Mexico. The last thing he wants is a Mexican assistant there or whatever.
Yeah, but on the other side, I'm sure Osorio wouldn't have minded.
No. What he didn't mind is them putting a Mexican woman with him.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
La Volpe had Campos, but Campos wasn't really a coach.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say the podóloga, but that was only at Chivas, right?
No, but La Volpe pretty much made his career and been in Mexico for a long time. But here's one for you. When Sven was there, didn't they put Paco, what's his name, with him?
yes. Paco
And he was like
Ramirez.
throwing hands.
He hit Frankie Hay, dude. He slapped him going
Well, I
into the.
hit Frankie Hayduk too, but
I don't know why I remember these things, and then I
But-
can
but-
remember other important shit. Like
But see,
birthdays.
Yeah, well, Paco Rodriguez
Like-
is a little weasel. Just look at his face. That guy's a weasel. He's a scoundrel.
Didn't they
him
have
and
him
that
as a
goddamn
candidate?
tin.
He was a candidate to take over for Sven or one of the before Chepo. Wasn't he a candidate as well? Or was
Who?
that to coach Chivas?
He did.
Paco Ramirez.
Paco did go to Chivas.
He did, yeah.
Oh,
Dropped a big deuce right there.
Yeah, dude. This dude looked like he was permanently drunk the whole time.
He looked like the bad guy from
Zorro.
what's
Harry
that
Potter?
movie with the Fifth Element?
He looked like the weasel. He looked like the guy who charges you money to play playing minutes. He should have never been part of it.
No, but like, so for me, it's even if you bring a foreign coach, I don't think it works if you put a guy in there. I honestly think at this point we really need to go back and see that we get a Mexican coach in there. I don't know
The
who
foreign
it's gonna-
coach is because Pastor. It's the Federativos think like Pastor does, where he say he wants a Mexican coach, but then he has faith in none of the ones that are there. So,
No, it's not. I don't have
you
faith in
cannot-
none of them. I
Dude,
never
you
said.
said
I said
Nacho.
that
I said
Nacho
Nacho.
Ambriz is lukewarm. That's all
You-
I said.
Dude,
Lukewarm coach.
see, you're just like the Mexicans that want to debut a player at 25.
No,
When
he's
he's
a
18,
lukewarm
he's like,
coach.
he's
Look at the big moments. At his big moments, he has taken like lukewarm decisions. He's just like
I don't think Nacho's the
He
guy.
hasn't, dude. No,
Nacho's not the guy, bro.
what he did at Leon was
That dude has a flat top. You can't trust that guy. Come on, bro.
You know what? This is another problem with the federation. I mean, you look around. I guess you look at Europe; they're the standard for coaching development. Like they have these programs where they bring in the best the well respected coaches in the world to give talks.
they do that. They do that in Mexico too.
I don't think they do it enough. I think
yeah. Well, the difference between Europe and Mexico. In Europe, yeah, they bring him in to talk and everything, but you're also required to go through the whole process to like show that you deserve that
Yeah,
certification.
go through
Like you run practices against other coaches that have that UEFA Pro license. In Mexico, a bunch of them are just paying for it. There's not that
Like-
accountability.
They send
Yeah,
5.
Guys, I have
coaching
a
development. I think is definitely. I mean, you got these Instagram influencers. What is it, Rhymers? They got a Mexican coaching license.
Reimer.
You know, the license process is a joke in Mexico.
I know who can be coach.
I'm with you there. I'm glad you brought him up. You,
Michele
That
Año.
weasel, that
you know
weasel's a
what?
perfect example. I guarantee
Yeah.
you, he did not pass any courses. He literally paid for a certificate and like networked his way into like a position.
Hey, but you know that he did that one part that you were talking about because he was with Menotti when Menotti was in Mexico at Tecos, uh, and then he was with the whole Cruyff staff when they were at Chivas.
He was the intern grabbing the coffee.
Yeah, he was being a brown noser. He was kissing
And
ass. He was actually like doing
I don't.
running practices and stuff.
I think he was actually doing that. You know, you could do that, assuming you're gonna be good at it.
Damn, that video's
I
6
think-
years old, dude.
He
Daniel.
was doing albañil work shirtless for those people, man.
No, I do think he was there taking notes and whatnot. It just hasn't been his forte.
You know
Um,
what? It was a Maori gaining patience for him. He was gonna take Chivas to the promised land.
That's true too, right there. He should have let him finish.
So we need to get a coach. How quickly will this process take? I'm not sure.
I'm surprised no one's naming Bielsa. He was flavor of the month for years.
Mexican. Send Bielsa over
No.
to Chivas.
I'm not.
You know what? I really think. I mean, just going back to Tata, I really think no matter what his pedigree is, I think he really fumbled like every single game. Um, and he talked about a little bit that he. I mean, I know it was like right after the elimination, and he's he's emotional, he's frustrated, but I think he expressed like some of the doubts that at least I personally had with his game management in the Poland game, where he the second half, like Mexico in the first half, they had the momentum, and then second half you could tell the squad needed subs, and he really
He
um
hesitated.
he took a little too long to bring in the subs, and then they just didn't have the effect they
And
you
then
know
when we get
and,
the subs, it's the mighty power of Uriel Antuna.
and Raul Jimenez that's he wasn't even at 75%. You know,
Yeah, he was all spaghetti legs, man.
He showed up in a wheelchair.
That
Damn.
dude.
Juan who I would put if I could choose the Mexican
He turned
coach.
into like a Make-A-Wish kid. I want to go to the World Cup.
you know, Jolie. Do you consider La Volpe a Mexican coach? I was
I do.
watching.
I do.
I do, but that's not who I was thinking of.
He's probably spent more of
yeah.
his life in Mexico than he has in Argentina.
Yeah, he has roots in Mexico. I've been watching that.
With
I don't know if you
kids and all that.
yeah, the ahijados and I mean his son-in-laws.
And nephews and grandsons and
Cascarita,
I
you've been
really-
watching the Maestro show?
Yeah, I've been watching the Maestro show. I like what he said that for the next cycle he would start with the U20 as the base, and and use that to build for the 2026 because which makes sense. They would be 24. They still be young, in their prime or entering their primes. I don't think it's a bad idea since obviously it's going to be tough for Mexico to prepare. Uh, without like any competitions or even qualifying.
there's gonna be a Copa America.
Yeah, because at this point, all we have
Trust.
is the Sun Games. That's it.
But see, even Canada, US, they know that.
But this is where I agree with El Vasco. They should be like begging to be a guest team in
Africa, Cup of
yeah.
Nations, fucking
Yeah.
Asia, fucking
everywhere.
everyone.
Yeah.
I want Mexico to go on a world tour.
Wait for like Africa and Asia, Mexico doesn't.
Huh?
They know they're a big draw. For those competitors.
No, but at
For
the
Europe,
same time,
they show up with the cup, but not those competitors. Don't let them come in. They'll be like.
the being a draw thing's that's not what we're looking for. It's kind of the different type of competition, right?
No, I'm just saying if they wanted to be in those
Right.
tournaments.
And you know
For
what?
those-
I'll go out on a limb. I would take Nacho Ambriz as the coach of the national team.
You know what? You know how it would take?
Who?
The only guy to win something significant with Mexico within the last 20 years, and he's still. But I think one of the important things for a national team, more than picking the best talent, is being able to build a good locker room. And this is not Jolie's pick because I think Jolie's pick is Piojo Herrera or Vuse. That's why I think he would take.
Well, no,
But
I was thinking Chepo, but then when you said build a
oh,
locker room, you convinced me to go Piojo because I know Piojo would
Wait,
do
don't
just
say
that.
Fernando Tena.
yeah, Flaco Tena.
It's a cool,
Flaco Tena
dude,
won
gold medalist. Gold, you
medalist,
won
dude.
with start with, but Guate already has him,
And,
dude. He's taking Guatemala to the World Cup. It's gonna happen, guys.
you know,
He's gonna
but
have to.
to the chagrin of Rigo, at Chivas del Norte, I would throw the money bag at Flaco Tena. He doesn't demand much, remember? But I
Hey,
think
he's there already. Throwing money for what?
to come to Mexico.
Oh,
Honestly.
to bring him back. To
Yeah, bring him back. Bring him
You know
back.
what I would
and,
do? I would throw in anyone that's like Almada, Bielsa, like La Volpe, like whoever. Doesn't matter. Like make Rafa Marquez assistant. Once that first guy, everyone's done with his shit. Rafa Marquez comes into the save for the last 6-7 months, but leading up to the World Cup.
That's what I was going to say. That's what I was going to say.
Listening to something. I was on either Twitter or on TUDN or something like that, and somebody was saying Rafa doesn't want the national team.
He said he's not ready, but that's what I'm saying. You tell him, hey, we want you an assistant. This guy's gonna last all 4 years, and he leaves, then you're ready for the 2030 World Cup. Like this is a long process, and most likely it's not that guy's not gonna last all 4 years, but in those 2-3 years, you hope he's learned enough. He feels comfortable with the national team, and then if he needs to be the emergency guy, he can be that emergency guy. Because just like he can be that guy where players are not gonna question him. This is Rafa Marquez alongside Hugo Sanchez, the two greatest players that Mexico's ever produced.
I think Rafa will eventually be a good coach, and I do want him in the near future, but I think he's too green right now.
That's
And
what I'm saying.
it's a long process. By the time you get to the World Cup, you're a different person, bro. It's like it's like the you might have had like it's kind of like pitching. You have your starting pitching. You have the team that gets you through. Well, I guess there won't be qualifiers this time, but you have those players that are going to be part of like the first cycle. But then towards the tail end, like whoever's hot and whoever's like playing well, and you might have some youngsters kind of sneak into that last roster. So by the time you get to the 2026 World Cup, it's a completely different team. And
I'll stand by what I said, man. On a short-term basis, I'll take Piojo Herrera.
For not short term, long term.
Piojo is
Piojo
a nightmare. Piojo will not get us to anywhere further than we've
Piojo
ever
Herrera
been.
will not do a generational change.
Oh, you guys.
Oh, no, I'm talking about short term. I'm not talking about a full process.
No.
Yeah, I mean, he could be a band-aid. Piojo, Flaco,
Yeah.
Vuse. Maybe actually give Vuse a real chance to run the team.
But a band-aid for what?
These are the
It's
worst takes I've heard here in a long time.
It's not like we have a tournament coming up in 5 months.
Let me tell you
We don't need a
something.
band-aid right now. You need a band-aid at the end, not in the beginning.
Y'all bringing
you
back
need a
bad
Band-Aid
memories from
right now.
Chivas. Why are you guys naming these coaches, bro? They're terrible.
I'm telling you, I go up to Rafa Marquez, tell him, who do you want to be the coach? Who do you want to learn from? We bring that guy in. You protect him from the media because he's the assistant. He's
What's
not taking
Mourinho
any
doing
fault.
nowadays?
Well, boom.
You know
Whoever.
what? The thing is with Rafa, you could end up rushing his proceso.
That's what I'm saying.
And you might like he might be a good manager one day. It's like Chepo, dude. Like Chepo's, he's damaged goods now.
But keep in mind,
I'm
though,
not even
keep in
gonna-
mind,
I'm not even taking that bait.
Joey, he's damaged goods, dude.
Wait, just really quick. You
Same
keep
thing like
fighting on.
same thing like Vuse. They use them for what, one game or two, and they
All
and he's
right,
really
but see,
pissed about that too.
I'll
Um,
tell you what I would like to
Why
do.
has no one brought up Tuca?
Because he retired. He's kind of retired, and then he didn't even want it when they offered him. But
I'll be honest. In my eyes, Tuca and La Volpe, they're Mexican.
yeah, but okay, like
yeah.
just really quick, I would like to bring in like Bielsa. You don't even have to be a coach. You could just pay him to structure your youth teams all the way to the senior team. Like just set a program, structure. He loves doing that shit. I think he loves that even more than coaching.
You
I
know
mean,
what,
like just
Joey? You bring up a good point. I would bring Bielsa, but to coach at the club level. All the foreign coaches you want, put them at the club
no for
level.
the selección, do it for the
No, forget
selección. Like
about that.
set it up since under 15, under 17, under 20 Olympics and youth and senior team, and set it up and not only for players, also for having coaches.
We
And
already have a system to have a successful youth program. They
it's
have to go
called
back
El
to
Dedazo.
the Nestor de la Torre program. They can just go back to that.
Well, you need to bring him then.
So I would like to make one
I
point.
think more importantly than the next coach.
You better
I was
speak up
watching
because
the La Puente
Cascarito's
I
not
interview.
going to
know,
let you talk, dude. He's,
Yeah, listen to this. The La Puente interview with Faitisen and Joserra, where he said, "Hey, let's get soccer people," or actually, Joserra and Faitisen proposed it. Get the soccer people in charge of the federation. Have some kind of committee with like the older heads, La Puente, the guys that can't coach anymore. They're too old to be there day to day to set up the program. And you don't depend on a Bielsa. You don't depend on a Mourinho or this one-time hotshot, which I think is more the Netherlands approach, right? To have
yes.
so I
Go.
wanted to just point out. I just wanted to point out really quickly one thing. Who beat Mexico? Argentina. Who's coaching Argentina? Scaloni. Look at his coaching record. Look at how deep it is. He's got one entry on his coaching resume. Literally one. He was brought in as an interim. I'm not saying that Rafa is ready, but sometimes folks rise to the occasion. And we've struck out so
Yeah.
far, and all the folks that we've reached out to, and that dude he commands respect. He commands respect amongst everybody. Partly part of the reason why the U.S. people hate him so much. Well, that and that tackle on Kobe Jones. But I mean, for me, I don't know. I'm a Barca stan, but I would advocate for Rafa.
I would too, because he reminds me like when Saddam was around Madrid and he hopped into practices. He was one of the best guys. Rafa hops in the practice with the players, even his age, just on his touch alone. He'll be probably one of the best defenders, if not the best defender during that practice, just on the touch.
Oh man. You know what?
Does Mexico have the players to play like Barcelona? Because
Wait,
isn't that what
we don't even have to
It's
go that
not
far though,
necessarily play
man.
like Barcelona. I mean, Rafa Marquez playing the national team for over a decade. He knows what's best suitable for the Mexican players.
I
It's just
know.
I think the coach, you have to bring a coach that will put in a system that will best use the players that Mexico currently has and is currently producing. I think that's kind of why Tata failed, because they don't have the players for the way he wants to play.
Wait,
And
no,
that
no,
was the
no
big.
jumping, no jumping it. No, no
No,
going back with Tata. We passed that.
no,
But
no,
I
no,
hate.
no.
Wait, just really quick. I hate to
I'm not
be the
rehashing
bringer.
Tata's. I'm not rehashing Tata. What I'm telling you is,
But you're
look.
bringing them up. Well, yeah, stop talking
No, I'm
about dog
bringing up
shit.
the player pool. Like you're getting,
Why are you
but
talking
he's
you're
about
right.
getting hung up
You
on
have
the
to
wrong
look at the
detail, man.
past.
Como siempre. You have.
Okay, well,
I
just
think you have to look at the players that Mexico produces. That's why, like, to me, like a Buse or a Tena might actually, they might punch above have the team punch above their belt because
Dude,
because of the way they
Vucetic.
play. The way
Vucetic is just anti-football, bro. The way he's
wait,
that is,
wait.
dude. We don't need that guy.
You're hurting
Dude,
Jaime's
win
ears by
ugly,
bringing
win
up
three,
Vuce.
win,
You
man.
you put me in a
Guys,
bad mood. I was okay with Mexico getting eliminated, but don't bring up Vucetic and don't bring up Tena,
Well,
bro. Just
I'll take
well,
him.
just real quick, because
That's the
I hate
best
to be
Mexico has.
the bringer of bad news. Because I do like Marquez. I would love to have him there, but I don't know if you guys remember. He was trying to head up the players' union in Mexico.
I doubt he's blacklisted, bro. He's
What did Grupo Orlegui do as soon as they took over Atlas?
I-
They gave him that Spider-Man kick to the lady in the supermarket. Just, it's, it,
Here's my concern, and maybe one of you guys can answer this. Does he still have any issues with the U.S. government?
No, he's cleared.
yeah, and that's the other thing.
No,
Does
he's
he? Is
completely cleared.
He's cleared.
Cleared
Okay.
it up.
Yeah, and so is.
he could play Moleros?
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah, I could coach him.
Those Moleros are in question.
And so is
No, I do-
Julian Alvarez.
I do think the players' union was a no-no, and I do think not necessarily blacklisted, but it goes into voting for the clubs, and I just don't think he has that type of pull from those club owners where they would want him around. And to me, it said a lot of Grupo Orlegui putting him out because they were just starting, and why wouldn't you want that club legend there?
Okay, well, if that's the case,
First thing they did.
if that is the case, then we don't deserve anything good. We deserve to be mediocre because having a players' union is not a bad thing. So we're gonna blacklist the guy because he tried to do the right thing, something that other top countries have, like Spain. They have a players' union. Canada, they have a players' union. The U.S., they have a players' union. Like, if that's what first world countries do, have a players' union, and we're blacklisting him for that, and we're putting the team in the back seat because we're thinking of our own personal interests, then we don't deserve to have nothing good. We deserve to have terrible results because we're putting money first before results.
I want to reference this letter from a really upset Mexican fan to La Federación de Socceration,
yes.
the Mexican Nation. And dear John de Luisa, the subject is El fútbol mexicano anda valiendo burger. Um, if the FMF really wants structural changes to how the sport of soccer is developed in Mexico, it has to go back to the pre-1970 organizational leadership model, or at the very least, something close to it. And I think that means taking the power away from the owners. Joel,
Yeah.
you were in your youth when in 1970. Can you enlighten us?
He's
How things
celebrating his
were
prom.
in your
Damn. no, but that's what hurts Mexico, where the club owners, they're the ones that make up the FMF, and so they're the ones that decide. So they get to decide with the national team, and that's like you don't really see that in other countries.
And it's not
Except
18
for-
owners because there are multiple.
Yeah,
Owners.
multipropiedad.
Yeah, there's owners that own multiple teams, so it's really like what, like 10 owners? I don't even know.
Yeah, and of course some owners have more weight than others, and there's like favores, they're bound to do with each other. So I do think that has been the thing hurting Mex, but as we've been seeing with the TV, and that's how you know where like the power, where the power thing is moving. And it used to be just Televisa, TV Azteca. Now you have like Fox, and you have Claro, which is Slim. You have all these that just moved in, and so yeah, I think after the 2026 World Cup, we might see something. There's definitely gonna be like a power grab or something going on, and we don't know. Could be for good or for worse.
Sincerely, un Gonzalo que me están viendo mis hijos.
Yeah.
Is it signed Ranjiv?
Yeah.
Ranjiv.
So, I kind of want to wrap up this episode. We're at the 2-hour mark, but I do want to ask you guys, as kind of like the closing thought here, we'll go in a round robin order. Now that Mexico's out of the World Cup, who are you rooting for now? We'll start with Cascarita legend.
Háblame con más respeto, cabrón. No me faltes el respeto. Dude, I like attractive football. I want to see England and Spain do well. I don't know how far they'll go, but I don't want France to win again. and if not, like I want like a new team, maybe a new winner. Let's
Why?
get Japan and Morocco in
Why
there.
don't you want France to win? Has anyone won the World Cup like consecutively, back to back?
Huh. Wait,
No,
Maybe Brazil in the early ones.
I
they
don't think.
won
I don't.
50. They could have won 50. No, they lost in 50 and then they
No,
won in
I don't think
54.
any. I don't think any country's
Wait,
won it back to back.
54 and 58 or 58 and 62. If only we had a way to check these things.
Was it Uruguay then Italy? Like the first one I'm talking about. First one was
Uruguay won in 1930.
and then
And
Italy,
then
right?
Italy, yeah, 34. Italy might wait 34 and then 38.
And 50, the Uruguay 1950, the
Uruguay
Maracanazo too.
won it in 50 again, yeah.
Not to scare you, but as Profe said, a new if there's a maybe a new winner, that U.S. may have a clear path at making a big run, man.
Ah,
So,
I would
nah.
love
not
that.
that,
I would
not
love
that I
I
that.
think
want
the
them to,
U.S.
but
can definitely beat Holland, so I can see him making a semis.
yeah,
Wow, y'all
Wait,
just
I
not
believe that we
semis,
can
because they
win.
play Argentina in quarters against
Italy,
Holland.
so
Italy
at the
won
very
it
least,
34 and 38.
really?
And then Brazil 58 62. God damn it, I'm pretty good. See, it's going off from memory.
Yeah, man. You're very
I,
fast
I,
with
I,
that wiki.
I can remember like my siblings' birthdays, but some of this stuff, I'm like,
But can
no, I
remember World
remember
Cups you
Italy
watched.
hosting.
Dad,
Huh?
when was I born? I don't know. Fuck.
Well, if they're
But I
born
can
by the
tell you
World Cup,
about the
I'll know.
World Cup. I can tell you.
Yeah,
uh,
Italy, Brazil, Argentina almost. They made the
Elbow.
final twice.
Now that
Yeah,
make.
Argentina 90 and 86.
What about you, Elbow? Who you rooting for now that Mexico's out of the World Cup?
I think at this point probably nobody. I think I'm enjoying the games. We're saying they've been pretty entertaining. So I think I'm just gonna stick around and hope for some good footy. Ah, ya empezó Joel con los dishes.
I forgot. No, I was watching some. Damn.
That was Anoya, man. It's like you
Hey,
made some pozole or something last
is
weekend.
is Joel the cantina intern? Is he the one making the coffee?
I am, dude.
He's the
Yeah. So no, I don't have a horse in the race anymore.
Joel Tenna. Thanks for hopping on. Definitely don't be a stranger. Who's your pick now that Mexico's out?
El otro Joel. Um, I mean, I don't want any colonizer country. I don't want anybody who's won it before. So I got to go with one of these African countries or maybe Japan. And barring that, and I know it's the original colonizer. Like I said, I'm a Barca stan, and Luis Enrique. He's got a story, man. I mean, the day that he was playing against Germany, he was celebrating what would have been his daughter's 13th birthday, and she died of cancer.
Yeah.
And I remember when that went down, and he actually bowed out of the Barca job because of her cancer treatment, and then he to be with her, and then he took the national team job, and then he had to bow out of that when it got real bad, and then she passed. So
Wow.
I'm a sucker for stories like that. Being a dad, and so if it's not going to be an African country or it's not going to be Japan, it's not going to be somebody who hasn't won before yet, besides the U.S., which I'll never be down with. I think I'll give it to Spain.
Do you have a shirt that's half Mexico, half Spain? Those are very popular in Irvine.
Oh, damn.
That's hilarious, man.
Goddamn, Cascarita. The low blows.
Al Pastor, who you got, man?
He's Habibi now. He's going by
Habibi.
Habibi.
We have a Barca stand here. I'm a Real Madrid stand. The only one I don't like in France is Mbappe, but I wouldn't mind like Tuchemeni, Camavinga, those guys winning it. But if I do have to go with someone like a good Mexican, is Brazil. Mexicans and Brazilians will get along. Get on TikTok. All the Brazilians were like, guys, what happened? We expected you to do better. Like this is not like Mexico. What's going on? They know like the Mexican chants. Like happy people. You know, Pele, he has fond memories of Mexico. All Brazilians talk great about Mexico, including Dani Alves. And I just think it's like a happy. It's what made me fall in love with the game. Watching Ronaldo, Ronaldinho, like all those guys. I have no ill feelings to Brazil. You said no colonizers. Well, they weren't colonizers of anything. Portugal is the ones that started the slave trade. So I'm gonna have to go with Brazil. Like it wouldn't make me happy, but like it wouldn't be like damn, like why do those guys win? Like I think Brazil would be like that sweet spot right there.
Hmm.
Oh, and also I do want to point Brazil is the only team who has not received a shot on target so far. They're playing very well.
Yeah. Did Pele? Did he go? Did he cross to the other side?
Nah, he's not.
Not yet.
He's sick though, and that might be
Because
the
it's all over.
catalyst that wins them the cup, man. They got to do it for
It,
Pele.
it's all over Twitter. That's why, unless it's
Oh, unless it's like recent
are you
within
talking
the
about
last
like
hour,
right now?
I would
Right
think so.
now?
like yesterday, because I remember reading that he was hospitalized, dude. I don't
Oh
know.
yeah. He's
No,
been
I
He's
in and
still in
out
the
of
they
the
just
hospital.
hospital
did it.
like for the last
Yeah,
couple
he's still in the
months. But
hospital. Well, if you were to watch a soccer game, what team would you what team would you root for?
Man,
Dude,
man,
Type
I
Sports.
don't want to
out
talk
of the
anymore.
last 12 World Cups,
I think
Everyone's just ganging up on you today. My bad, bro.
Pastor's passionate speech has me like jumping on the Verde Amarela train, but I have a soft spot for Argentina, and I predicted them
no
taking
mames.
it. I I predicted them to take it at the when we did the predictions here.
Eres un estúpido.
So I have.
Tell him again.
You
Nah.
literally went for the guys who hate us and talk shit about us. Wow.
After all that,
I
huh?
don't.
It's
I don't.
et tu,
I don't
brute.
buy.
Pagan. It is.
You know what?
I
I'm
don't
bringing
buy.
Canelo to your house, Jolie.
I don't buy the whole they hate us. I've been there. I've been in that country, and I never got hate.
Yeah,
I think it's mostly online. If you visit
I don't
and
know.
tell them you're Mexican, tell
After
them
what
you're
happened
Russian.
on
You
Twitter,
probably told them
bro.
you.
Did
You
Yeah.
probably
land
told
in
them you were
Argentina on a
Danish.
boat?
No, no Mexican. Which is crazy. What I started seeing the last time. It's been years since, but I started seeing taco shops popping up.
Yeah. Well, for me, I have to root for Japan. It's been it's been exciting watching them beat Germany and Spain, and incredible. Also, my friend Don, he's Japanese, so shout out to Don. He's having a great time right now. I just love the upsets. I love the underdogs, and they're definitely, well, they're not an underdog anymore because they won the group. They have Croatia next. We'll see how it goes for them. Another team that I would like to see go far, just because I don't really know much about them, is Morocco. I know Hakimi's there, and they have a few other players, and yeah, I mean, fuck it, let's go for Morocco. Who will realistically probably win it? I do think Brazil can go on a deep run. I don't know if they will, if it's like laid out where it would be like an Argentina Brazil final, but obviously that would be the final of all finals, right? That would like settle the debate for centuries as far as South America goes. So that would be a very very interesting final. But yeah, we'll see how it goes tomorrow. The last couple of group stage matches left, and then we'll get into the knockout round as early as Saturday. So we'll try to hop back on the pod and get your guys' hot takes. Hopefully, we'll see some more stories develop in Mexico as far as new coaches, new structure changes, and also going back down to earth, Liga MX, and there's going to be a Copa por Mexico leading up to the Liga MX tournament returning in January, and of course, we have to wait for Chivas to bring some refuerzos in, as was promised by the owner. So, thank you guys all for hopping on tonight. It was a blast. Had a lot of laughs. And we'll catch you guys in the next one.